Hello, everybody, and welcome to the finally long-awaited second recap of our videos for the TWPL, I'm sorry. And today with me is again Rise Up to the Top, say hello,
Hello people. I'm finally here. It's been a
yeah,
long time now.
and
2 weeks for the
myself.
second.
Yeah, we had a few weeks of trouble because we expected Danish to record the video and us to join, and then that didn't happen, and then we didn't find time to record too. So we had two interesting weeks, which we will do the recaps back to back, and we would start with week two. I'm sorry if my voice isn't as loud and clear today. I'm feeling very sick. I'm doing this recording so we finally get it out, but I'm not healthy at all. And for the first matchup of week two, we had the Zebra Strikes versus the Stakatakas. And Zebra Strikes went up with a lineup of ABK versus CCN, with Neslo versus Nail versus Legend Revamp versus Arcta, with Crow Music versus Silver. In SS Anything Goes, we saw Frito versus Swastik. When NetDex OU, we saw Ara versus Martin. In RBY OU, we saw Stitchu versus me, Schwimmer. And in 1v1, we saw Pokeblader versus Torterra. And in the end, this whole matchup, as we can see here, went clearly to the Zebra Strike 6-2. Uh,
This inputs on the top of the leaderboard currently in week two, as in, and the Streakers have a healthy point difference of 4 now, and this is a really solid win and boosts up their momentum.
so we will watch the game Cool Codename versus ABK. Do you see it on my screen share?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, we will go and watch this game from ABHK's point of view. And right off the bat, we see again a Zapdos Galar, which, as we've seen a few times now, is a huge threat. And Dragapult chunking a really good Zapdos Galar answer in the regular Zapdos already, which helps CCN break down or being able to break down a team. Also, nice switching into Lando in the Focus Blast, predicting the predict on the Pharaoh's swap, and keeping momentum with
Now,
U-turn here.
yep, and there's that Zapdos G again, absolutely destructive breaker, and you see the Melmetal getting eliminated early.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage behind Zapdos, and you have no switch in right at that point. Brave Bird and close combat will result in anything
A,
dying.
a good double, and he managed to get his Zapdos healthy again, and that is great for ABHK. The Lando gets rocks up on CCN side, which is good. Again, chipping down on the opponent. Again, the other Lando gets rocks up. You see a typical OU exchange, a U-turn out. The Volcanion is in, and it potentially gets a huge hit off here. But he decides to double to the Tapu Lele.
Against the Dragapult switch, which was a good predict because otherwise Dragapult comes in, takes little damage, and has again a huge Shadow Ball that is unanswerable at this position, right? What do you switch in into that Shadow Ball? And you see Pole Whip and getting the static, which is quite unfortunate. Regieleki coming in to threaten the Zapdos and doubling out to get the attack boost from the Lando. So now nothing switches in into the Zapdos ever.
And now you get a free Brave Bird off. Yup. And that is the Zapdos gone. Oh, that's so unfortunate. That static. Static is huge because now you can't keep on bringing this Mon in because it's going to be slower than Landorus. It's going to be slower than Lele now. It's going to be slower than a lot of things. It is not able to break again. That's a huge static. They trade. They take the hit for the rocks. I don't know if that's a fair exchange. We will see. Now Landorus The Lando comes in,
Lando
gets
also
its left.
losing its leftovers, so no recovery on Lando is also really good for CCN's side.
Yeah, but now Lele comes in and gets a kill. And there we go. There's the Lando's gone.
Now you see Primarina, which is
I
incredibly
think,
bulky and deals a lot of damage.
yeah. And the special attack drop. And goes for Sludge Bomb. A good play, and now we see a Shadow Ball.
So
And
this is
Lele comes
proven
in.
now to be Scarf Lele because he brought it in so aggressively against the Dragapult, right?
Red, and yeah, because it's over
This
now.
Ferrothorn
Because
is now
that,
dead.
yeah, it's 2-hit KO'd. Again, Criminal threatening to come mine and hits the Hydro Pump. We have Specs Dragapult now in. Oh, I think that's a banded Dragapult, or it could be DD. We'll see.
It
Reggie
looks
LFT
like
comes.
a banned Dragapult from the way it's being brought out, the way it's being played here.
Yeah, and that is two quick kills. Now the battle to completely changed sides. Now you can see ABHK in a stronger position now. Oh, and then now it will be up to a speed tie here. We have a speed tie win.
But
Whoever
it's
wins
not
this,
down to a speed
that's
tie because it comes down to the fact that CCN didn't expect the choice band
a sub.
Sucker Punch, which two-hit KOs Regieleki and finishes the Dragapult. And it came down to the last mon, 15% HP, but as we saw already, we knew ABHK would win, right? We saw it in the dock. But it came down to Sucker Punch, Choice Band, priority, not going for the speed
Yeah,
tie, right? Taking the
you,
chance.
yeah, it's very risky, and it worked out bringing this banded Dragapult. It's not at all common, but it's a great breaker. You, the Zapdos getting static was a huge moment again because you can bring it in, you can double it in, and you get 3 kills, but you are not able to do that because it's slower than all the mons now. And yeah, the Sucker Punch Dragapult coming in clutch and giving the win to ABHK. And yeah, we see the Zedstreakers take the win.
Yeah, and as we saw, the Zebora Zebra Strikes will win, or did win, in a landslide victory for this tour in their second week. Now let's go to the second matchups we had in week two was the Raging Rhydons versus the Wuling Wooloos. And in sort of style for this tournament, it was a tie. uh, we've seen in week one, this tour is so close in players' individual or team individual strengths that ties did happen a few times already. And the Raging Rhydons brought Chiles Habaneros versus Captain Aikichi. We had Anik versus Elegier and SS Uber. In Mono, we had Mixwell versus The Snake. We had the Slam best of three between Derp and Lapanda Chill. We had the Anything Goes match between Chief Z and Assaulted Destiny. Then NetDex OU between Wait 2 Seconds and Falson, which, if I remember correctly, was no, it wasn't the game I chosen for this, right? DPPOU, we have Bynum versus Fledemo, and RBYOU, we had Amir versus 48, and I've decided to like make us watch Gen 1 OU
Uh,
and see how
you-
48 was able to beat Amir in the two games.
Amir is the most expensive player in this tour, but 48 is again an RBYOU specialist. So we'll see how this pans out.
Yes, yes. I mean, Amir is the most expensive player because he plays most old Gen OUs, right? Like Gen 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, especially Gen 6, really strong player in Gen 6. So it's interesting to see how he stacks up against Gen 1 main. And we see like typical leads, Gengar and Jinx are really strong in this gen as leads for their potential to sleep someone and deal massive damage. And the
A
Gengar
dub
getting the
was
crit immediately
And
is
yeah,
rather unlucky. Now we see something very
so
typical for Snorlax, putting up the Reflect, because as you know, Snorlax's physical defense is not as good as his special defense, and Reflect allows it to stay in for so long against physical hits and just tank them. And because Reflect doesn't end in Gen 1, it just goes on and on and on. And with Rest, it is out here stalling a lot of PP from this Gengar. Gen 1 Thunderbolt miss also, though it didn't matter because even a crit wouldn't kill. Now we see something really rare. Articuno is not played often in Gen 1 OU, but its damage, as you see on the crit on the Chansey, dealing over 40%, is massive. And Thunderwave against Snorlax, well, actually, sometimes we would say in Gen 1 is bad, because the best you can do is freeze it, so it doesn't get to set up or something like that. And now Taurus comes in, Body Slam versus Blizzard. Yeah, that is always going to Articuno, that matchup in that position. But Slowbro able to just fully tank. Thunderwave coming in against the Gengar, which is huge because it cripples Gengar's power to break this team. And Snorlax still being alive and well means it also tanks this. Boom. And
double
Zapdos, another really threatening Pokemon. Right on one of the only answers in the tier to a good Zapdos positioning. And now we see Slowbro and Chansey dueling it out. And again, I'm here going
again.
for the Thunder Wave against the wall, which you usually try to freeze instead of T-wave it, because a frozen Chansey is a dead Chansey in Gen 1, right?
Because there is the thawing as well.
Yeah, there's
And
no
we
way to
see
thaw.
Yeah, and Thunderwave keeps on racking up. There are like most of the members are paralyzed now. Rhydon now outspeeds Articuno and kills it. So we see a breaker gone. Tauros comes in,
Yeah,
and the
Tauros
Jinx is
runs Blizzard for this exact positioning against the Rhydon because nothing else is able to take Rhydon's hits. And this was a really strong double, taking the Hyper Beam.
that was amazing double, and now it gets chip on Tauros, goes to the
But
Blizzard,
here
and
we see Gen 1 striking. The
yep, the
freeze
freeze.
in this position, Slowbro can't tank a Hyper Beam anymore. Tauros has to crit Hyper Beam, which does happen actually. But now it's in no position to beat Zapdos unless another crit.
Yep,
And
and it's
everyone playing Gen
gone.
1 knows a sleeping Snorlax versus Zapdos does not hold up.
Yep, and there we go. That's a good win from 48. You would see Amir was stronger early on with all the paralysis spread, and in the end, it came down to the freeze. And you see Amir 48 take the win over Amir. Interesting
Yes,
match
and we have
again.
another match because Gen 1 is a best of 3, remember. And
Oh yeah,
to see how the second game, how 48 was able to take the win there, we will again watch it. And again, we see something like two anti-leads usually, because Alakazam anti-leads a lot of common leads like Gengar, right? And then you have the Starmie doing the same thing. And we see a Gengar team missing the
it sinks,
hypnosis.
and yep, it lands the second one, and we'll have to see. The ride-on comes in on a Thunderbolt. Good predict. Now it gets a hit off and gets a body slam off on an Executor.
This is a risky switch because most executors run double edge and boom to take down Chanseys. This one though has Mega Drain, which makes Starmie. So what you often see in Gen 1, or what you can see, is Executor lead versus Starmie lead. And then Starmie goes for the Blizzard, and Executor freezes it. In that position, if you don't have the Drain, you can't kill Starmie most of the times.
That's the reflect again. It
Here we
lasts
see
forever. India.
a bad trade of Thunder Waves for 48 because obviously Starmie getting its speed crippled is much worse than Chansey being T-Wave because that's what you want. You don't want it to be able to get frozen.
That's a
Losing Gengar
nightshade
here,
game, and DQ'd it. I don't know about that. And the Snorlax comes in.
it was a predict on the body slam from Gengar because he's shown to have an executor. So body slam was a safe play from 48, but he expected Amir to know that that position could happen and went for the more risky Earthquake because he has answers in his bag for everything Amir has and his team otherwise anyways at this position. So we see both teams running a Gengar and usually Snorlax versus Gengar, like Snorlax will do no damage to Gengar and Gengar will not be able to kill Snorlax for some time. But we see a crit, which is massive in Gen 1. Remember, it's a second crit
Double crit, and that
and a
allows
third crit
Gengar. That that was amazing, and that
and a
allows
fourth
Gengar to
crit.
boost four,
It's
and that takes out Tauros. That's a double kill, and now Stormy comes in, and again it beats Executor 1-1 because of Blizzard, and you see Chansey coming in again. Rhydon comes in now. It substitutes up,
yes, yeah.
and
Sub Rhydon with Thunder Wave spam is something really common in Gen 1. And you see a Paralyze against a Chansey, but just tough for Amir because he needs this Pokemon to wall out the team now. And he gets crit again.
this is just
Because
rough. This is a
Chansey
rough.
could have won this game. It would have come down to Chansey versus Chansey. But now,
That's another crit. The crits are rolling in for 48, and now Alakazam is asleep,
and
and
this
Rhydon gets.
Alakazam can never win this position. Even if he woke
Yep,
up and crit the Rhydon, you don't kill Chansey in time. You don't kill Starmie in time. You get Thunder Waved. And then Tauros or Chansey or Starmie. One of these will eventually deal the killing damage. So really bad luck on Amir's side, getting critted over and over and over again on his answers.
yep, and now you see 48 take the set 2-0 against Ame, and now you see a tie again, a tie between the Rhydons and the Wooloos, and we move on to our third and final match.
And it's the Uchiha clan Ursa versus the Maverick Melmetal. And we saw an OU game between Abi and Yippee Dreepy. We saw an Uber games between Inder and 8142E. We saw the Mono game versus two absolute monotype goats between Lithium and Style CSS. We saw Salamans versus Ashbala. We saw Anything Goes between Amok P and TGA. We saw a NetDex OU game between Adam and Red Goop. We saw an Sun and Moon OU between EU and TDR. And then the game we will watch from this series, which was the UU game between Onon and Jet, Aqua Jet. And UU is a tier I have no experience in whatsoever. That's why I chose this game, because I have no idea what's going on. It's two Trick Room teams and it looks like hell.
Yeah, this is gonna be. You see a Corsola Galar on the opposing side. That's one of the differences, and the Moltres Galar on the other side. And matchup wise, this is gonna be hell. This is a TR versus TR. We're gonna see who gets their breakers in first and who chips the teams down. Okay, let's head into it now.
Let's head into the game. And yeah, well, again, this comes down to like Conkeldurr is obviously a huge Pokemon in this matchup, having this CC,
And
the knockoff. Okay, here we
The
see.
Corsola, it has a monstrous special attack for those who don't know, and it's gonna go for this Shadow Ball. Might be a choice specs, and looks like it, and it goes with Fiery
What
Wrath
is this
and
tech
Hattery.
though? It's did you see the tech? I wanna hold up and highlight the tech. Room service Moltres Galar to get
Oh,
the
that
minus speed.
and yep, and it makes a Threatening Breaker after Berserk, and yep, you never see that.
Wild.
That is wild. Yep, that's genius stuff.
And now we see back to this position. Porygon, probably the most known Trick Room setter in the game because it's just so bulky, has good special attack, a nice move pool, a lot of ways to support his team. Knocking off the Flame Orb,
Good.
massive.
Oh yeah, now it doesn't get that +1 boost from Guts, and that is great. And the plus 1 CC because it's burnt. +1 CC takes out Conkeldurr, so that's one breaker bond. You see that Moltres Galar come in, and Cresselia takes huge chip, and yup, it gets one Trick Room off. But again, the room service is now not present because it switched out, and now the it lands the Stone Edge, and there goes the amazing room service Moltres Galar. You never see that. Takataka versus Takataka. It's a body press Takataka. That you don't see that. You normally run 4 attacks, 3 attacks plus Trick Room,
Yes.
and there we go. +1
Two
attack
speed
Takataka.
ties though for the Stakataka to kill the
Yep,
opponent's Stakataka.
and the the Corsola Gala comes in. You see a life orb, and you see Earth Power. So now know that Marowak and Sakataka can't switch in now because of Earth Power. And the Sakataka is in now, and Gyro Ball will kill this,
Ooh,
but
the
it
Mach
has
Punch
Mark Punch,
nearly killing. And Body
and
Press
it
does
didn't kill.
not finish the job.
Oh, that is very close. And now the Conkeldurr goes down to its own burn. The Marowak is out. You see a sub Marowak again, and the recover. So let's see how much Flare Blitz
The
does.
Flare
It
Blitz,
oh cool.
because it was knocked off, no chance of survival.
And yeah, that speed tie did not matter because it has a sub up. And
Yeah,
yup, you see Alcojet taking the win there. Very experienced UU player. That was an interesting MU. You don't see Trick Room as a Trick Room often, but we got to see something beautiful in room service Moltres Galar. So we'll take that.
that room service Motor was.
I
Right,
I'm, I'm stealing that.
funny is, I've never noticed Moltres is in UU because we as a monotype players, we see it as a nightmare fuel. It's
Yeah,
Moltres in monotype is currently being talked about to be
potential.
suspect,
Yeah,
while we have Pokemon that are Ubers like Kyurem or Demaniton Galar or Cinderace running wild, they don't matter. But the Moltres UU Pokemon breaks the tier. Shows how different tiers can be when you restrict building.
yeah, and
And that is our recap for
another.
week 2. And I will make a video cut here. So I will stop recording, start recording again. We'll greet you all again for the next recap, but they will be recorded back to back, just so it's easier for me
Yep.
to upload and edit them later on. So I will see you all in a bit, actually.